Welcome to today's meditation time. I am honored that you are spending just a few minutes with me, and more importantly, that you're spending a few minutes with yourself as we close out this weekend and head into a new week. And before we actually begin our time together, as you're kind of settling in and getting comfortable where you are in your home, I just want to kind of preview the next few coming days. As many of you know, tomorrow we celebrate the holiday and the birth of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And so I'm going to add some extra meditation times this week, and we're going to do 7 days of peace. And so each day, starting today, for the next 7 days, I'm going to focus on a different aspect of peace. So that by the time we get to the end of this week, we will have 7 days. Just imagine 7 days of focusing on different areas in our life where we can actually cultivate peace. And I cannot think of a more beautiful way of honoring the life that he lived and the work that he did for our country and for our world. And so just know that's coming. But today we're going to start with the very first kind of peace, and it comes right back into the center of us. So let's get comfortable where we are. I invite you to close your eyes, just allow your shoulders just to rest comfortably where they are. And let's find a rhythm of breath that feels good and empowering. So just breathe in deeply and breathe out completely. Breathe in deeply and breathe out completely. And one more like that. Slow breath in and a slow breath out. And then I invite you just to continue that rhythm however it feels right for you, and let your breath serve as your anchor. As sure as you are seated or lying down wherever you are in your home, feeling like you are anchored to that spot where you have found yourself, let the breath just secure that anchor so that you feel stable and calm and safe. And so as you continue to breathe in your space and I continue to breathe in mine, I want us to think about different realms in these coming days. And so the realm of our existence that I want us to focus on for just these few minutes that we have is the mental realm. The mental realm where we seek peace in our minds. And again, as this weekend is ending and a new week is beginning, I can't think of a better way to start a week than trying to foster and nurture peace in our mind. And so for the next few breaths, I'm going to grow quiet in just a second. What I want you just to notice is what is going on in your mind. What's this scurrying of thoughts? What's the lists that are being formed? What's the talk that just keeps chattering? And don't worry about it. Don't judge it. Don't evaluate it. I just want you to kind of witness it and just see, each of us individually, what does it look like in our head right here in this moment? And then as you become aware of what those thoughts are and those lists and that chatter, just know that the goal of our meditation practice is that we quiet all of that noise just a bit. I don't know that we ever completely silence all of it, but I do know that we can find moments where it becomes really softened and far less chattery than it is right now. It takes time, it takes practice, but it is so very possible. And so just continue to breathe in slow and deep, and breathe out slow and complete. And just listen to this quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. that says, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that." And so that quote from him, it has so many different implications for our lives. First and foremost, at the literal sense, if we want to have a life that is filled with light, we've got to do things that are inspired and informed by light. We have to commit to get rid of the darkness, all those shadowy spaces in our mind where all this stuff just tends to sit and fester and grow in a way that it shouldn't grow. We have to actively work to bring more light in and let that darkness go. And so as we are each in our space, I'd like to give you just an analogy as you think about your home. Think about the room where you are sitting right now with your eyes closed. You know it well. But just imagine that you wake up in the night and you need to get up and take care of something, and the room is really, really dark. And even though you know where different pieces of furniture are and you know where the walls are, for the most part, you still walk hesitantly. Typically, you'll kind of hold your hands out and you'll make your way along just so that you don't bump into something or disturb the environment or hurt yourself. Your eyes try to adjust to how dark it is. You find yourself squinting just so you can see a little bit. And then all of a sudden you make your way over to either the wall where the light switch is or the table where the lamp is, and you turn it on, and this sense of relief comes over you. It's a little overwhelming at first. The light is so bright because it penetrates the darkness so quickly. But even though it's overwhelming for just a second, it lessens the anxiety. You can continue to walk through your home, and you're not walking as slowly. You're walking with more confidence. You're not being cautious. You're being confident. That's what light does. And so many of us, we're walking around in the dark and we're fumbling and we're hanging on to things and we're walking slowly and cautiously, and we've got a little bit of anxiety and worry in the center of our chest. And all we've got to do is find a light and turn it on. And I know that sounds easier said than done. But every time we turn the light on inside of our head, the darkness wins out one less time. Typically, the darkness looks like negative self-talk. It looks like reminders of things that we've failed at and that we haven't done well. It's negative ideas that we have about ourselves. It's criticisms that we say about ourselves. Sometimes it's the voice of other people as well. But I assure you that each time you show up to meditation and you focus on the deep breaths in and out, and you try to be present in this moment that we've got, the darkness will begin to fade, little by little, until all of a sudden you realize there's far more light in your mind than there is dark. And then when the next situation comes along in life that could potentially bring darkness back in, you set really healthy boundaries and you don't let it in because you work too hard to let it go. Dr. King tells us darkness can't drive out darkness. Only light can do that. So we're going to just grow quiet for these next few minutes, and we're each going to just sit in our space. And rather than just noticing thoughts that are trying to come in, I want you just to notice your breath. I want you to picture that room that you're in your home, and I want you to picture it as bright and as lit up as you can. You know where the lamps are, you know where the lights are. Just imagine that they are all on. And there are no dark corners in that room where you are. And if you can stay focused on seeing that light, the thoughts that are trying to creep in across these next couple of minutes will realize there's no space for them to hang on to, and they'll drift away. So let's take a few breaths in together. So slow breath in and a slow breath out. And a slow breath in and a slow breath out. And now let's just sit. focusing on our breath, seeing the light. And just bring your awareness back to where we are, each of us in our space individually, but all of us here collectively. And just continue to sit with your eyes closed for just a bit longer. And just listen to this quote from him just one more time. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. We'll spend a lot of time over these coming days thinking about peace. But before we start thinking about the peace that we want around us in our world and in our relationships, in our jobs, and in our homes, we have to start with the peace that is the closest to us. And for most of us, that starts in our mind. We learn to quiet the chatter. We learn to turn off the negativity and the criticism. And we really focus on the light. So as we close out our time this evening, let's each just commit to do that. It's not perfect. We will fall and falter. But this reminder here in this moment is all we need, is that little nudge of turn on the light. Quit being satisfied by just poking through the darkness, cautiously moving. Instead, light your path, light your life, and experience the vibrancy that you so very much deserve. Darkness can't drive out darkness. Only the light can do that. Namaste.